All right, welcome, guys. We got James Bruce as always, but something occurred to us, and we've actually never interviewed each other. We've never had each other as a guest. So this week, you're going to be very unspecial, but we're actually going to check out James's strategy here. We always talk about he likes to do um, VWAP and retests of the session highs and lows, but we're going to do a
Correct.
deeper dive, and we're actually going to learn from him exactly how he trades. He's a very profitable trader. James, introduce yourself. What's your claim to fame?
Yeah, claim to fame. Not too sure. Maybe I got the most beautiful hair.
That's what it is. Yeah.
No, yeah, I've been trading 9 years, Hunter. This is my ninth year trading. So yeah, actually, we've been doing this podcast for I'd say about a year now. So good to actually finally do this. But yeah, I've been trading 9 years. I started off trading, currencies, like I'm sure most guys in the CFD space, and then I pivoted over in the last 4 years to mainly stocks and indexes. Mainly day trading Nasdaq and a little bit of the DAX, and then individual stocks are swing trades. So yeah, I've been in the game for quite some time now. So I was studying my Bachelor of Commerce degree in finance, and also doing playing professional rugby. So I was on a professional rugby contract. I bust my knee up, and I wanted to make my own money and do something afterwards. I didn't see myself working in a 9 to 5, and that's where I kind of found trading. So 2020, I had my first six-figure year. This was before prop firms. I got bankrolled. I made 158 grand that year, just maybe north of it. And that was like kind of my breakout year. And then 2021, a little bit, I struggled a little bit. Market conditions changed, obviously, after COVID. And then obviously prop firms became quite a big thing. So now I trade my own cash and prop firm accounts. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So you prefer prop firms, or you prefer your own cash?
It's a very good question. I would say I still prefer my own cash accounts, just because I can do a lot more with it in terms of, I can trade maybe different markets. For example, some prop firms don't offer stocks and so forth. But I do love prop firms. The reason I like prop firms is because your downside is capped. If you have to throw $10,000 into a personal trading account, you can lose that 10 grand. Whereas if you wanted to, get 100K two-step accounts, you probably, your maximum loss on that is about 2 grand, so I love prop firms for the scalability, and then using that to fund into long-term investments and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And when would you, so you're using both, I suppose. Sorry. Maybe I missed it here. But
Yeah.
When would you use which one? Would you day trade the prop firm?
Correct. Day trade the prop firms, and then I kind of swing trade on the personal accounts. Exactly that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So to answer that question, I don't think it's actually fair. I actually mainly trade my prop firm accounts. I'll swing trade only when I see like a really nice entry on a personal trading account. So I think it's kind of unfair to pick one or the other. I really like both. I think prop firms are probably the best thing to happen to retail traders personally.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally. And even being a prop firm owner, I can tell you pretty certainly that prop firms are more profitable for the average retail trader, just because the fact that it's a lot easier to get payouts on a prop firm. Like maybe 10, like for rough numbers, right? 10-12% of people might be getting paid on a prop firm challenge, but when you're trading your own money, there's no end to the task. There's no accomplishment. You just go forever.
And you're making money. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no finish line. Whereas okay, you pass a challenge, you get paid, you try and do it again. Whereas like a personal account, it's a consistent process. Unless you got, I personally think you should have different accounts for different things. For example, you should have like a more aggressive account where you're taking out money maybe if you're above a certain balance. Maybe it's 10 grand, and anything above 10 grand you take out, and then you have another account that you start with different accounts for different things. I think that's fair to say.
Totally. So I just actually posted in a couple different Discords here. So we got actually a bunch of people jumping in here. And if you're new here, we do a 50K giveaway to the best question. So I'm reading the chat logs along the way here. We have a different guest every single day. James Bruce is introducing his strategy, and a 50K Maven account is going to be given away at the end to whoever had the best question. So get your questions specific to him, and we're going to dive into it. James, that's enough of the introductions and whatnot. Let's break down your strategy. Let's
so I'm sharing
with overall. Yeah. Can I jump to your screen?
Yeah, so you can.
Okay.
So this is my P&L year to date. You can see that, and I know you posted about this, Hunter. So this is mainly my day trading accounts. Some of my personal trading accounts I can't add yet because they don't have the API access. So this is mainly day trading accounts with prop firms. I have one personal account linked up to here as well that I swing trade on. But you can see over here my trade win percentage this year. I've made 120, call it 121 grand this year. My average RR is 0.32. So not a high RR. I'm not trading for massive RRs. Or from a day trading perspective. From a swing trading, I might go for like those 2 or 3 R moves, when I'm swing trading. But from a day trading perspective, most of I would say that's a little bit skewed because, on MT5, when you close like half a position out, it counts as like 2 trades and so forth. So it's my RR is closer probably to about between 0.6 and 0.9. I would varies from time to time. But yeah, I'm going for higher win rates from a day trading perspective and lower RR. So that's kind of my go-to, and I'm not the biggest trader in the world, but I make money, more often than not.
It's interesting. The negative RR is kind of becoming a trending thing lately. And I see 2 different approaches to how traders, they'll have their opinion, and like everything, it's black or white sort of thing, right? People say negative RR is better. Some people say, no, you're a moron if you're not going for 2 to 3 R, right? Because then you can have a lower win rate, right? I posted something last night where I found a bot that had like a 90% win rate, but the RR was like 30%, right? Or 0.3, right? And the reality is, you have the higher the win rate, the lower your R most likely. And the only thing that really matters is how much profit you're making at the end of the day. So you're on the position that the low R is better. Why?
Just because I like to win, Hunter. Like I think from a day trading perspective, very rarely do you get days like I think yesterday was probably a good example of that, where very rarely do you get like a move that just runs for the whole day. Most of the times, I would say 90% of the days in my experience, price moves from level to level. So for example, today yesterday was a very uncommon day where we just sold off the whole day, right? On ES we sold off. We can go to NQ, it's probably better. NQ we sold off like 600 points. From the open we just sold off 600 points. Whereas today you can see we actually traded. We dropped down to the lows and we bounced back up to the highs. Now maybe a move back down before a move higher. So you don't move. The reason I like the higher win rate is I don't like to, if I'm in a long and I bought the market today down at these lows, back up, I don't want to be in a long, okay? And then a pull, I'm up, I'm risking 170 points, with CFDs. The futures traders always get confused, Hunter. I don't know about you, but they're like, how can you trade with such a big stop loss? And I'm like, I trade with CFDs, but I can trade with a 500-point stop loss if I want on the NASDAQ, risking $1,000. I love it for that reason. But I don't want to be up 100 points, risking 171, and it pulls back to my entry. So I'd rather cut that trade there for the win and then look for re-entries.
Totally. Yeah. So do you probably use more lower time frames if you're trying to just get these
mainly the 15-minute and 5-minute. I would say in the last month or so, I've moved over to mainly the 15-minute chart actually for my entries. You can actually see over here, where was my report section. So you can actually see my performance, my overview. I had a negative month in June. I was just trying to scalp on the lower time frames more, and I was like, stuff that I'm going to move back out to the higher time frames. So June was a bit of a tough one. I'd been in America visiting, I saw you obviously in person. So I was like, no, I need to get back out and just slow things down. So 15-minute chart from a day trading perspective is where I'm sitting on mainly.
Ironically, because we trade very different sort of methods, right? I'm more of a reversal sort of trader.
Yes, sure.
You're more of just a trend sort of trader, right? And funny enough, June was one of my best months ever.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So it's that's the thing. It's different times favor different strategies as well. You know.
And I suspect let me ask you a question. How was your last week? How was last week?
My last week was good. So last week was my last week. I started off negative though last week. So we can go to July. Yeah, I started off negative on Monday and Tuesday, and then brought it back. I didn't trade Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Ironic. Yeah. Ironic.
So maybe a little bit more tough. I wouldn't say good. Obviously, not like 2 weeks ago was pretty decent.
Okay. Yeah, you're doing super well. Just looking at this week by week. If you can you flip to maybe June? You said June was tough.
Yeah, June. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, like this is exactly what we want to see in a tough week or a
Yeah,
tough month. Is
exactly.
it's
Look at
a
these.
tough month
Look at that. I
doesn't.
got punished.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're just going on these crazy losing streaks. It's and I imagine as a trader, how did that last week feel? You had an okay month so far, right?
Yep.
And then the last week you came in and every day was a loss pretty much, right?
Sure.
And you're probably thinking, I'll make my stuff doesn't work anymore, everything's doomed, right? Like, how did you get through that?
Yeah, I think I mean I've been in this game long enough, to understand that there's going to be some tougher periods. So I know that I just need to bounce back, see where I'm going wrong. Maybe I can avoid taking some trades because the reversals are in play and not the and not the trend plays. So yeah, I think it's just from a perspective of I took the loss. Where did I go wrong? How can I bounce back? Now, I enjoy journaling. I'm not Shakespeare. I'm not writing out, 500 different lines of thing, but just making where did I go wrong and how can I get better? Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And then
And
May I made a whopping $300 in May because I was obviously in America the whole month.
yeah, fair. No, $300 on. I think. Yeah. Anyways, that was the week that we were together, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were together this week on the 11th. This week, yeah, I didn't really trade this week, so I made
Mhm.
$2,000 that week. Nothing really to brag about, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I'm in a moment. I'm gonna get you to, and I'm gonna make sure people keep watching until the end here. In a
yeah.
moment, I'm gonna get you to explain in detail, okay, if you're comfortable with that, like how you would
Of
enter the
course.
market, how you would read the last 2 days. Last 2 days have been dumping, crazy spike today.
Yep.
For example, today I took the shorts down. I got
Oh,
some shorts
nice
down.
off the open. Yep.
And yeah, off the open, and then another short after, and then we came up. The candles were pretty bearish on the hourly and the 4 hour, so I took the short as we came back into the range, and
Yes.
because it was a higher time frame short, it always goes against me, right? So it went against me. Now it's sitting up there, and I'm already closed out at a loss, but
Sure.
I want to
Yeah.
see how you reacted to that.
Yeah.
How did you
So
do well today?
yeah, yesterday I struggled, ironically, because you trade the reversals. I was looking
Yeah,
for a bounce on ES long yesterday, so I got ran over yesterday. I looked for a long off of this level here, off of that support level at 500, 7,500 on ES,
yeah,
and I just got ran over. I took my loss as it came down, and
same actually. Yeah.
yeah, and then I kind of just was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not reading well, so I missed out on any potential shorting opportunities. Actually, on my personal account, I found a nice little scalp long off the lows,
Mhm.
just for like 10 points or so on ES. But
20.
today, really nice day. Why? Because I like to favor longs on the indexes. Hence, it's just obviously these things are built to go higher. So as soon as we dropped down on the open on NQ, I was like, geez, we are, in the last 2 days since market open, we are down, 1,000 points. I was like, we got to have a relief bounce at some point. So we got what I use in my trading strategies. I've got 5 things I look for each and every single day from a day trading perspective. Swing trading a bit different. We can get to that in a bit. I've had to learn how to do the swing trading a bit more now because I've become a dad. I've got my second boy on the way. Not going to have as much time at the desk as I would like to. But from a day trading perspective, I've got my opening range high. So I'm using the 15-minute opening range high and low. Okay, so we've got the opening range high over here. We got the opening range low. So what I saw today, and again, I can just touch on the 5 things. I look at pre-market highs and lows, previous days highs and lows. So those are the levels that I look for, coming into the open. So what I saw here was a flush of the pre-market lows. We can see pre-market lows on NQ was 27,800, and we flushed that. And then as soon as we bounce back in and above the New York VWAP and the opening range low, that's where I took my long, okay, with a stop at the low like that. And I got out on NQ, basically back out at previous day's lows, that white dotted line on my screen. So I'm using the opening range for the 15-minute opening range, as well as VWAP and levels in my trading. And then I do add some data, edgeful data in my trading, like if we take out the previous day's lows, how often do we close as a bearish day and so forth like that as well. But today I actually went against that data, ironically, because I really like the longs at a good price.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say this is more one of your trades, like where you like that's kind of a reversal play today, right? Would you agree?
Well, yeah. Interesting enough. Today I did exit a short because of that same reversal, right? So it's funny enough, we're kind of seeing the same sort of things. And everyone that's asking questions, I am monitoring them. I have them stored on the side, the ones I want to ask James. So in a moment, as we pick up speed and slow down speed, rather, I'm going to ask these questions. And some questions are pretty good so far. But I just want to get more deeper into
of course.
James's
Anything
strategy.
else that maybe the guys want to know in terms of my trading strategy? But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking for each and every single day. Again, I don't think you need to make your trading overcomplicated. You know, some of the best traders I know, that, you know, one of the guys in person I know, he's at a $5 million year, and he literally only buys dips on the ES and he trades aggressively when he sees these dips. So I know for a fact he actually messaged me today saying that he bought this dip on ES.
What I really love about your strategy is you've taken something like the orb, you open your opening range break, right? And I love to rant about how all these strategies don't work, orb, ICT, moving out, like all of these things. I'm like, they don't work, right? And I think they make money. This is my opinion. I think they make money because you're in the market. They're not substantial. But what's interesting is you've taken that, you've adapted it slightly, and then you've added the VWAP, you've added a little bit of, you know, these kind of things that I do too. You've modified it, you've created your own thing that doesn't exist anywhere else. Right?
Correct. Yeah. You got to put, I think as a discretional trader, I personally I know you're working on some bots in that, but I personally love discretional trading because I think we know, like, I try and bet bigger on my best setups. I think that's something that really, really, like, the best traders really do. Like, that's what I'm trying to get better at. You know, when they see a great setup, they throw the, you know, kitchen sink at it. And I think, like, when you find your own niche with trading, like, I'm not really trading the opening range breakout strategy. I'm using the orb, but I'm using it my own way, you know?
Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, maybe I'll jump into some questions. I had another thought. I'm just trying to remember here. Oh yeah, you were saying the bot sort of stuff, and it is interesting because the way that you have to program bots is you have to assume that the way you've programmed it will not be perfect, right?
Correct.
Like, because discretional trading, like you're saying, you're always going to be able to pick and choose and say, hey, you know, the 1 hour is telling me this thing, so maybe I'm going to decide this different move. There's way too many rules to incorporate into a bot unless you make some sort of priority system, and then still then it's going to be wrong. So you have to just say, hey, on average, these are the rules, right? But you're still going to miss so many options, right? So I you know, is that kind of maybe the reason why you're not doing a mechanical system, is because
I have a mechanical system in place, but that's just kind of like to tick over in the back end. You know, I still prefer watching markets every single day. I really enjoy markets. So I think also as humans, we can adapt to certain market conditions a little bit faster than bots. For example, like if we look at the NASDAQ chart on the daily time frame, you know, we were just moving up basically from April into end of May, you know, and you just can wake up and buy almost every single day. Whereas a bot that trades a reversal system is probably getting hammered during that time, you know?
Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess you'd have to find some sort of system that codes in, you know, a logic to stop trading, right? Or switch to the one that trend trades, you know? Swap between different strategies or something. Anyways. Yeah, good thinking. So let's just jump into a couple questions. Can a profitable trader completely switch their trading strategy and still be profitable?
Yes, they can. I did that with the currencies. I moved from currencies to trading indexes and stocks. It took me about a month to get used to it. And because I'd already at that stage been trading for about 6 years, I got full into the flow of things and I changed. That was about in 2023, 2024. So yes, you can do that, especially if you understand how markets move and you have a little bit of experience. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess it would really depend how much you're changing, right? Are you changing from a profitable strategy to another profitable strategy? Or are you changing from a profitable strategy to an unprofitable strategy?
Correct. Yeah, it also depends on what I personally think that the best markets to trade in the world is probably stocks, indexes. I'll put stocks and indexes in the same thing because you're trading stocks essentially, and crypto. You know, I think currencies are great in terms of can you make money doing them? Yes, but probably swing trading is a little bit better to do from the currency side of things than day trade, in my opinion. In COVID, it was nice, but then that's where I made my first 6 figures in a year. But then it kind of dried up a bit. So you have to also learn to adapt as traders as well. Where's the opportunities at?
Okay, I got a couple small account questions here. A lot of people struggling with small accounts. They want solutions for them.
Sure.
So one of the questions from Money Market says, for someone starting with a small account, what is the best way to practice their strategy without risking too much money?
Now, my answer to this is going to be maybe not too popular. Yeah, I know you like those type of answers. My answer to this is going to be, I would not trade a small account. I would rather you invest that in terms of go get your money right. Go start making money outside of trading. Put money aside and invest it into, maybe individual names and stuff like that, or stock portfolio, and then use prop firms to rather leverage yourself. If you don't have north of, it depends on obviously how much you want to make per month trading, but if you don't have north of 10 to 20 grand to put into a personal trading account, I would say it's probably not worth it in terms of actually day trading it. I would say go make money outside of trading, invest the money, and then use your money to get prop firm accounts and leverage from there.
10 to 20 grand for a Canada or US sort of thing, right?
Yes, dollars.
Yeah, your cost of living, right?
Yeah, so the reason I said
4 or 5 times your cost of living, probably, sort of thing, per month, right?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, the reason I say that is because the saying goes, big money makes big money, small money makes small money. If you've got a $500 trading account, you're probably not going to make $2,000 a month trading it. You'll have to 4x it every single month to do that. Whereas maybe if you get a Maven prop firm account and you start trading that, you on a 100K account, and you can get for about $400. You can potentially make a grand to $2,000 a month if you're consistent in your trading doing that.
Now, ironically, a question literally just popped up like a minute ago that said, if a trader has $500 to spend, that's exactly what you said. Should they spend it on a personal account or a prop firm challenge?
Put it on personally for me, get a prop firm account. I mean, you're not going to spend that $500 into, you're not going to, you might get lucky doing it maybe once out of 5 or 10 times, but you're not going to do that every single month.
Yeah. So then the next question becomes, okay, so I have $500. How many accounts do I buy? How much do I invest?
Another good question.
Do I put it all on a Maven 100K, or do I get 10 5Ks or what?
I would personally, the more opportunities you can give yourself, the better chances you have. So instead of spending it all on one account, maybe you get 5 accounts. Maybe you mess up 2 and you pass 1. Then you have a chance of making your money back and some, in a month. I think a good thing about prop firms and what I've started to do as well, Hunter, is I've started to give myself a monthly budget. For example, if I want to spend $4,000 a month on prop firm accounts, I don't just buy one big account worth $4,000. I get, maybe 10 accounts, and I might mess up 2 or 3 in the month. But then if I pass 3 or 4 and I'm taking payouts on them, I'm going to be net profitable at the end of the month. So yeah, I would not put it all on one account. I would probably split it up if I had $500 to spend. Maybe you get like 3 10K accounts or 3 25K accounts, whatever it is.
So let me deepen that question a little bit. You said you spend maybe 4K a month on a prop firm account, right?
Correct.
That's a substantial amount to be putting on prop firm accounts. Let's say somebody only has $500, right?
Yeah.
And they go and they say, hey, I'm going to buy a bunch of 5Ks, Maven 5Ks, whatever, right?
Sure.
How would you scale that effectively so that you could get to the position where you're spending $4,000 a month on prop accounts? That's your budget, right? That's 8 times what this guy even has to start with.
Exactly. Yeah. So it depends on again what your goals are and everything like that. But I would say, if you are making money trading and you're profitable, start with an account and you got $500. Get an account with $100. Try and get that pass. Maybe you fail the first one, get the second one, and you take out a $500 payout. Now you've got $900 to play with, and then you start taking more payouts on that account and you start running it up like that. I personally love the 2-step accounts. That's my favorite. That's always my go-to. I think the instant account's also great, but obviously they got more rules. So you pick your poison, choose what you want, where you want to go with. But I think start small and then you can use the pals to scale up that way. That's how I did in the prop firm space in the beginning, because I was like, I'm not going to pile just money into prop firms. I'd made good money trading my own personal account. And I was like, I was putting that into, homes. I was bought a house, stuff like that. So I think starting small and then scaling up as you get payouts. I think the nice thing about prop firms is you can, as I said, you can keep your downside capped. So for me, on my prop firm side of things, if I mess up badly in a month and I don't get any payouts and I blow all my accounts, my budget, I've lost $4,000. But if you can easily lose that in a day trading account. If you got, 50 grand in a day trading account to trade, you can lose $4,000 in a day,
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair. A couple more quick questions. Let's kind of power through them, and then we're going to jump back to kind of what you think the future has in store for trading and for yourself and for the market. We'll talk about that. So, James, stupid simple question, straightforward. How did you learn how to trade?
I learned from my bedroom at varsity when I was in university. I'd bust my knee up. I was watching at that time. There was no one live streaming, Hunter. There was no live streams. There was no people actually doing real in front of you. So I bought a course from one of my friends that he had some experience. I saw that he was doing pretty good for himself. Was making money consistently. So I bought his course back in 2018, and then YouTube. I started to use YouTube. A lot of guys that I saw on YouTube, I started to follow them. I started to use YouTube. And then I came across Austin Silver, who I'm sure some of the guys in the chat will know. And then from there, got his courses, and then started to scale up that way. I was doing pretty well consistently, trading my own money. And then I got bankrolled and then built from there. But I think what must be said is that there's no holy grail trading system. There's not you can come and trade the way that I trade and it might not work for you. I think that if you are a discretional trader, there's no wrong or right way to trade. It's about knowing when to trade, managing risk, all this whole psychology aspect of it, which obviously can only be taught from experience, learned from experience.
Perfect. That leads us right into the next question. Do you believe psychology or strategy has the bigger impact over the long run?
I think you need a good strategy. I still think you need. I know people are always about big. It's my psychology in that. Well, no, dude, you're trying to sell the NASDAQ every single day and this thing's going higher. So, you do need a decent strategy that you understand and that actually, that can work. But I would, once you understand that for me, in my position, I've been trading 9 years. I understand markets, I understand strategies. I've seen so many different strategies, RCT, trend lines, swing trading, day trading. I do both. So I understand markets, I understand strategies. When I'm, losing, it could be due to technical issues, maybe, and that maybe not even psychology. Maybe I'm entering the markets early when I'm trying to buy the dip, like I was trying to do yesterday, or that is psychological. Maybe just trying to jump the gun or something like that. But I still think that you need a decent strategy to complement a good psychology.
Well, the argument here, let me play devil's advocate, right? Is market's going up, your strategy tells you to buy because it's going up, but your psychology is so poor that you keep trying to fade the move.
Agreed. So it's a bit of a mix. That's why I think trading's so hard. It's not one or the other. It's both. It's not strategy or psychology. It's both. You got to have the right mental to be able to enter a market. And hold your winners, because I know some guys also like, I can't hold my winners or whatever like that. Well, that comes from experience as well, because as soon as you start holding your winners, the market starts reversing on you, and then that's how that goes. So it's not one or the other. I would say it's both, But I think where I am at personally, Hunter, and I know you got even more years on trading on me. It's mindset. What you do off the charts also reflects to you on the charts. If you are out drinking every single night until 2 a.m, you're probably not going to trade well in the morning. It's probably not going to do you well. So I think that's where trading is not like a one answer. It's kind of like and I'm not saying you need to be some sort of monk, but you do need to have some sort of discipline in your life that translates to on the desk as well.
So do you have any habits or tricks or insight on how somebody say they could improve their discipline or their psychology, or so that they don't keep making those same mistakes?
Yeah, well, ever since I became a dad, I've had to be more patient. So I have a kid. No,
Oh, a child.
no, I think again, like going to gym, if you do, I think a big thing is how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're undisciplined off the charts, you're probably not going to be disciplined on the charts. So I think you have to have something like going to the gym, Hunter, or if your goal is to read 10 pages a day, got to do that, stuff like that. I also see, like when I used to struggle as well, I used to say I'm only risking 1% per trade, or market used to open up and I'd risk 3% a trade. Well, that's undisciplined. And so I think you got to stick to what you say you will do. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, my question is, this is something that I've struggled with personally, right? And I imagine everyone's probably the exact same as me, of course, right? Is I set these rules, right?
Yeah.
And then I come in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to break those rules, and then I find myself at the end of the day I broke the rules again.
Sure.
Broke the rules again. And then tomorrow surely will be different.
Yes.
So
yes.
Is there anything is there like a pre-market thing you do, or any way that you can get yourself? I like to put it as tunnel vision, okay?
Yes.
Because when you're outside the chart, right, you're fine. You're like, okay, I can analyze, I'm focused, I'm disciplined, I can control my life. But once you get the attachment to that trade, oh, it's going against me, close.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything that you've been able to do that helps you pull you out of that tunnel vision where you're just focused on the money?
Oh, it's a very good question. I think I've got two answers to that. One, I've got, stuff in the back end that I have like a daily loss limit in. So I know that if I hit that loss limit, it's going to close all my trades for the day and lock me out my account. The reason being is because I've just been in this game too much to know. I'm just going to say, I'm done for the day and I'm just going to enter the market again. We've all done it. So I think having things like that in place to help you with like your daily loss limits and stuff like that is fantastic. I think also the second thing is, you mentioned, what was the second thing you mentioned about
the tunnel vision, right?
The tunnel vision. Yeah. So about being, you got to come into the market prepared. It's like when I did my rugby, I used to warm up. Well, if you just come into the charts in your pajamas from waking up, you're probably not in the right headspace. You lackluster to risk, and you're just going to start entering the market willy-nilly, just off the bat. So I think having like something that you do pre-market as well will help with that as well. So yeah, having things in the back end that stop you, and like a daily loss limit and stuff like that, I think that's probably the best thing I can say. Have those daily loss limits in place. It's the best thing to do, with your trading wise. You at some point we're all human and we're going to move that. So yeah.
Okay. And you just mentioned rugby. So, this is a great question. In rugby, you adapt to the game plans mid-match. How do you adapt to your trading strategies mid-session versus sticking to the plan? Well. Right. Let's compare it to rugby. If anyone doesn't know, James is a professional rugby god.
Sure. Yeah, I think
whatever you say, Hunter.
Professional rugby god. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's a good question as well. So, like I'll just explain to you, like whole of May into June, markets are just ripping higher. You want to be buying, you want to be looking for longs every single day. Same as rugby. Like when rugby, maybe it's wet and cold, we wouldn't play like a running game. We wouldn't pass as much. We would mainly play a kicking game because it's better suited to those conditions. I think trading, you got to see what type of market we're in right now. What type of market are we in for the day? Today on the indexes doesn't look like a trend day. So if you're looking to buy the NASDAQ right here, it's probably not a good entry because we aren't breaking out. I would expect this to maybe come back and close maybe somewhere around 27, 800, somewhere around there. It doesn't look like we're getting the momentum to break out. So you got to adapt from day to day. And that again just comes from experience in the markets, but also having like a game plan every single day. Just like, just like in rugby, we used to do video reviews, Hunter. Like we would play on the Friday or Saturday, and then on the Monday you would all sit in and you would watch the game, write points where we did well, where we went wrong, where we went right. It's the same as trading. You got to really smart as well. Say again.
Let's take a step back for a second. Sorry to interrupt you there. Let's take a step back for a second. I've never thought about journaling in this way. And it's the same way that people who practice speech, they'll watch themselves speak. Athletes, they'll watch themselves hit the ball or play the rugby, whatever you want to call it for rugby. Exactly what you said. You watch yourself perform, and traders are under extreme pressure for performance, right? So why not apply the exact same principles that you apply? It's actually incredible that you came from a professional sports background, because the same principles you apply in sports should also be applied to trading. And that is watching yourself perform, not journaling, because that's reading. Like, you're not going to go back. And I'm just wondering, have you ever recorded yourself? I know you're a live streamer. Have you ever recorded yourself and gone back and watched the live stream?
That's actually funny you mentioned that. It's something that I did. So in 2022, I made 60% of my trading account, return on investment, which is great. It's fantastic, but I had 23 trading days where I lost 4% or more of my trading account. Okay. And I was like, listen, the roller coaster of that is just too much. I can't have that happen anymore. I'm going to start recording my screen, and my goal is I put the loss limits in place. So protecting the downside. That's where I got that, equity protector, where it kicks you out if you lose a certain amount. And that's where I started to record my screen. And I'd actually go back, on fast, like maybe 4 times, and I'd watch myself in real time. I'm like, what an idiot. What am I doing buying there where I could have just waited 30 minutes and bought later on, or something like that? I'm just in too early. And I think you learn a lot from that. And it goes back to the rugby days as well,
Interesting. Yeah. I'm actually curious to see,
So yes, it is something I've done, Hunter. Yeah, I think recording yourself, but obviously now I'll do the live stream, so I can go back and watch my live streams and see, oh, well, that was a stupid thing. So I think recording yourself, not only does a live stream, I know a lot of people, not only does a live stream help in terms of keeping myself accountable, but it also helps I can go back and review it,
One of the interesting things I find from live streaming as well is I have to explain to people my strategy and what I'm doing out loud. So it really, that I'm not actually trading my method. You know what I mean? And when people ask questions or something. I remember being, when I was in school, I went to school with John, actually. And one of the things I would do to ensure that I was good enough at a topic was I would get so good that I could teach it to somebody else. And then that way I knew I was ready for the exam, right? And then I would teach it to somebody. And if I couldn't explain it effectively, well, I don't know anything. I don't know how to do it, right?
Yes.
Interesting. And you found better success watching those videos than
watching myself watching my replays, watching my videos, also doing markups. I mean, I can show you also on my screen here. Let me get it up here for a second. But like doing markups every single day, which is part of journaling. But look at this. Let's go like this. Look at this. So this is ever since I bought this PC back in 2020. These are all markups of every single month, every single year. You can see April 2024, April 2025, August 2022. I do markups, every single month, and to learn pattern recognition, so I can capitalize when the next opportunity presents. So doing markups has helped as well. So that's again a form of going back and reviewing and watching myself as well.
James, can you do me a favor for next week potentially? Is all of those markups, I want you to plug the entire folder into Claude.
Sure.
I want you to say, read every single one of these images and explain to Claude what are the things you're trying to do, what is your strategy, how to read the chart.
That's interesting. I actually haven't thought of that.
I want you to ask it and say, after it understands how to read everything that you put, you have to teach it first, right?
Yeah.
And then ask it, how has my strategy changed over time? Where are my biggest faults, right? And what things am I missing that are clearly profitable, right? That I'm not doing today. You know what I mean?
And like, what is my base setup maybe as well?
Yeah, like what you're trying to do here is have it, first of all, analyze all the data.
I actually haven't thought of that. Thank goodness for AI, right?
Yeah, because it's absolutely. I'm getting a lot of interesting feedback that I would have never even thought of.
Yeah, I mean, I've got probably over 5,000 markups here that I can plug in, and I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, And what it's going to be able to do is potentially look back at the old data too and see, okay, how did things actually play out? And it's going to be able to test things like, hey, it would be better for you to trail your stop here, or you know what
Yes,
I mean?
or maybe I shouldn't trade on days that I'm trading inside the previous day's high and low, stuff like that.
Yeah. So whatever's on there, it's going to be able to find something. We don't know what it is yet, though, right?
Sure. Yeah,
And
I'm actually going to do that. We can bring up on next week's podcast.
sure. And what could be interesting too is I'm also curious, because you have so many photos from so long. I'm wondering if you've forgotten anything, right? Something you used to do that used to work, and now your strategy's changed, and you're like, oh yeah, there's this thing that used to make me money, and now I've got this whole new, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You've got a gold mine of something that other traders do not have. I do not have this. I don't have years of data of my trades. I deleted everything.
Sure. No, that's actually a very good. I've just written it down. I'll do that tomorrow morning, and then we can get it for next week's stream. Yeah,
that's exciting. Okay, let's last few minutes sort of here. Let's just ask you, what do you think is going to happen in the markets coming in the next couple of years? We got a lot of issues, concerns with AI.
Correct.
The average person is able to trade with bots now, right? Like you can just go ask it to build something for you. You know, AI bubble, all this jazz. Are you concerned? What's your expectation?
Yeah, obviously that's I'm obviously very interested with that. We are actually, something I don't think too many people speak about online, is we actually are 9% down on the Nasdaq of all-time highs. I think it's because we've had such a big rally. But I mean, that's actually quite concerning. I mean, I know 10% is a correction, 20% is a bear market, but Nasdaq, you know, these semiconductor stocks as well are not doing particularly well. Nvidia, Tesla, I know Tesla's not a semiconductor, but Tesla's down, you know, on earnings was down 14% in one day. So these semiconductor stocks and tech stocks aren't doing particularly well. Nasdaq's down 9% of all-time highs. ES and YM are holding up, but I definitely think, I mean, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see where we go. I'm going to be interested to trade it, obviously, but I think in terms of what we can do, I think we could see, at least rest of the year, I think we could see us retrace back down into like 26K level on NASDAQ before maybe a next move higher. That's personally what I'm thinking. But again, I'm just going to trade what's in front of me, my swing trades, my day trades. That thankfully we can trade long or short from a trading perspective. So I'm just going to capitalize on the opportunities in front of me and try and make best of that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too unreasonable. A lot of people, you know, they think things will go up forever. What about gold? Are you a gold trader? What's your expectation on gold?
I actually have had funny you mentioned that. I've had a few swing trades on gold. I'm really liking this 4,000 level on gold. Personally, I've been buying it quite often. I bought it at the start of last week on Monday up into those highs, and I bought it 2 weeks ago as well. I think, back down here on a Wednesday, back at 4,009, back up into those highs as well. So I've been playing the longs on gold. Gold's very interesting as well. I'm not a massive gold trader. I mainly trade, I'll swing, but I'll trade anything. Like I'll swing trade gold. I really have been enjoying, as you can see, look at the daily time frame, how we've just been respecting this 4K level. I think we could potentially see lower prices on gold, maybe back down into like 3,500, maybe 3K even before we get our next leg higher. I do think that gold is a great buy long term, but technicals are not showing that at the moment. So, yeah.
Okay.
Do markets? Do you think because markets maybe rotate out of stocks into commodities potentially?
Well, what I'm looking at right now, a large thing that's suppressing the market is the potential rate hikes, right?
Sure.
If you talk to Trader
we have
Nick,
FOMC tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're talking to Trader Nick,
Correct.
he really understands the macro side of things.
Yep.
And I've been starting to learn that stuff a little bit too, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense why the markets are not doing well right now across the board, right?
Yeah. No, it's a fair assumption. I agree. Again, Trader Nick has got way more experience, and I enjoyed doing that podcast with him. He's got way more experience than me or you on that. So
we'll get him back for sure soon. Anyways, James, where can they find you?
You can put my links in the Discord and that, but Instagram's James Bruce Official and YouTube's James Bruce Official as well, and then my X is James Bruce 131. So that's where you can find me.
Okay, guys, we're going to link the winner of the 50K account in the Maven Discord, discord.gg/Maven. And then I'm going to put James's X page there as well, if you're keen on following James and learning his methods. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Next week, James is going to interview me.
Yeah, I'm going to interview Hunter. I got a few good questions.
And James is also going to tell us about his AI update.
Correct. Yes, I'll get those markups made for next week. That's actually a very good. I haven't actually see. This is why I hang around smart people like you, Hunter. Give me good ideas.
I'm not smart. I just take Claude's suggestions. He's smarter than me. The whole time I'm typing, Claude, what do I say? How do I make this interesting?
Yeah, you lucky I'm not in person. I'll grab your arm and have a good laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, Chris.